Emily, you want to call the roll, please?
Sure, Mayor. I'll just go down the list. If you could just respond with here or present for the directors. Matt Carroll.
Here.
Diane Downing.
Here.
David Gilbert, you said is absent. Majid Makhlouf. Majid.
I don't see him.
He's here. He's on.
Oh, is he?
Oh, maybe he's on mute.
G, are you on mute? G, can you hear us?
It doesn't look like he's on mute, Mayor. Just maybe he's having
I
an
see him.
audio issue.
Okay.
Okay. Trevor.
Here.
Michael Obi.
Here.
Hi, Michael. Tim Oftermatt. Did you say Tim was not able to make it?
He's not able to make it.
Okay. Joe Roman.
Here.
And Mayor.
Here. I ask, I don't know, but I mean, we do this when people are absent. I ask for a motion to excuse Dave Gilbert and Tim Oftermatt.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Perfect. All right.
And actually, if it just when my speaker was on mute when you were, so I didn't even hear what was happening. I'm here, obviously.
Great. Thanks.
Found you. All right, let us go
I'm not a
to.
cat.
That's funny. Let's go to the first agenda item, the wireless upgrade. Ron King, Mike Campo.
Thank you, Mayor. There was an email that went out yesterday. I'll just give a little background. This is an approved capital project. The budget was $2.25 million. The first thing that we did was hire a wireless consultant and engineering firm that helped our staff put together the system and design the system. After that was done, we put the system out for bid. We had 3 responders. One responder came back with labor only, no equipment. So we disqualified them, which then it came down to 2 responders. Logicalis, which is a national company with a office in Cleveland and has done work before in the facility and has done a very good job for us. Their bid was $1.998 million. The second bid was Rectitude 369. They do not have a Cleveland office. Their bid was $4.7 million. After the bids, we reconvened with our consultant and engineers and went through everything with them and with our staff. Questions were asked and answered. And so at this point, we feel confident with Logicalis at $1.998 million. So we are going to request the board to approve the wireless infrastructure upgrade to Logicalis for $1,998,354.38. And I'll take any questions.
Questions?
Ron, I have one. It's Joe. That level of difference, I'm very comfortable with the recommendation, but that level of difference implies, at least to a layman, some substantial piece of equipment that one firm was suggesting was necessary and the other one was not. Do you have any concerns about that?
No, I can address that concern. So what happened, Joe, is that the Logicalis company, because they are local, they did not have any of the travel built into their budget, number one. Number two, they are also a vendor of Cisco, which is the backbone and infrastructure that we have. Logicalis is. The Rectitude 369 is not a Cisco vendor, so they were going to have to buy it at a higher price than Logicalis would.
Okay, but we're supposed to be encouraging travel, so maybe we should go with the. Thank you. That was a good answer. That makes sense.
All right. Any other questions?
Mayor, I have one.
Yes.
Trevor. Ron, is there any MBE or SBE or WB related to this contract, or are they one?
Mike, I'll let you answer that one.
Yep, I can answer that, Trevor. So there's $40,000 that Logicalis will spend with Cuyahoga County SBEs.
Okay. Is that for equipment or for labor? Do we know what that's
labor.
included?
It's for some of the cabling work, so labor.
Okay.
So, so Mike, good question, Trevor, in this $2 million, you only found
Yeah.
$40,000?
That's where I was. Thanks, Mayor.
Kidding me?
Yep.
Can we
Now,
push
could-
for more to the mayor's point? Sorry, Ron. Can we, I mean, 2 million is a lot of money.
No, we absolutely can. It'll drive up the price though overall, but we can absolutely.
It would drive with the price up.
Hey, Mike, you may want to clarify how much of this is a equipment cost and how much of this is a labor cost? Because the equipment, as you know, it may be difficult to find suppliers, but how much is equipment, how much is labor?
I don't have that breakdown right in front of me, Jeff, but it was, I want to say about half and half labor and half equipment, but I could get that exact breakdown.
Yeah, because right now you're only at 2% of the 2 million.
Even if half of it is equipment, right? We're then at 4%, but that's, we usually try to do better than that. I mean,
But still, if you have 50% of his labor, then you probably should have some opportunities, I would think.
Thanks. Yeah. Agreed, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll go back and push on him on that.
Yeah.
Can I just say, it's Matt, Mayor, that do we want to, not today, but do we want to have a kind of routine approach to this, have a specific policy, have some goals, or maybe we already have thought that through. I know in other entities I've been involved with, it's kind of more typical, more standard kind of approach. But
so Matt, let me just mention up until now, what we have tended to do is we have tended in procurement to mirror the county's position. We can do it differently, but that's what we have tended to do in terms of goals for projects.
good, and we're evolving in that area based on some of the equity work. So that's probably a good conversation to have in the near future.
Good point. So I would say you're going to go back to the table, Ron, with them.
Yes.
Right. But to Matt's point, we probably should put a real policy in place here that when we go out for work, because this place is going to always need work. Right.
Right.
But for somebody to walk in here basically with 2% of the project cost.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hello, Matt.
In today's day and age.
Yeah, Matt, what is the county's goal in this area currently? I know it's evolving. Is there a percentage, like the state has a percentage? What's the percentage for county?
Mike, we do it differently depending on the kind of project, but the equity work and the most recent disparity study is going to really revolutionize the approach on a lot of different levels. So I think we just need to have somebody engage with those policies, because that policy is being made right now.
Yeah. So just to put a further answer, so what happened was what we've done, even on the county projects, to enhance participation, even beyond the county's so-called goals, what we have done is we have on the larger projects, at least I don't know about this one, but we typically will also ask, indicate that in terms of selection, what they can do to enhance inclusion is a selection criteria. So if they can propose something, which is aggressive, that's part of the selection criteria. So they're actually encouraged on a voluntary basis to propose a program or to propose enhanced participation, and then that can be part of the selection criteria. That works very well on contractors who are, who do labor and have programs. It probably doesn't work so well when you're going out for procurement like this of equipment. But that's actually what the county has done up until now also.
If I may too, to add there, Michael, I would, as Matt said, it's basically on bid specifics. They review it for every bid, but I would say on average, it's about 20% is usually what our procurement office puts into the proposals. But with the most recent disparity study, the county executive and council in particular, both entities, they're really looking to enhance that quite a bit. So I think you're going to see that grow even more here in the next 6-8 months. I think a lot's going to happen.
Yeah. And then the issue is going to be also it's SBE, MBE, FBE, veterans. And so the issue is the categories that can be acceptable. And then we also ought to talk about, there's some challenges with respect to local labor, but that's the other issue. So I think that's a whole conversation that we have on it. I agree with everyone. We have to have the conversation.
So Jeff or anybody, are we suggesting today we would like to approve this pending a embedded goal for inclusion that the company reaches, or do we want to tentatively approve it, send Ron back to see how much bigger, better he can make this and bring it back for a final electronic vote? What's the preference?
I think we want to try to get moving on it. So to the extent that we are all together today and we can approve it today, it would be good if we did, and then have us go back to them and see what they can do to improve those percentages. If that's
I guess, George, that's just what I'm trying to get at, to see what they can do.
Yes.
But full approval today may not make people comfortable unless we put a goal in there.
They don't have to know that it's approved. That the contractor don't have to know that it's approved.
This is a public meeting.
Well, that's true.
Let me say this. Joe's making a great point, right? I think we send Ron back to the vendor and express our concerns, and then let you negotiate a better setup, right? Best as you can. When you get that, you come back to us, and we can do a email vote, right, Jeff?
Yes, it'll have to be email vote has to be unanimous, but we can do that.
An email vote, and then to Matt and Trevor's concern, and my concern, we need a real policy here going forward, right? Yep. We talk about substantial work here, right? So, yep. All right, coming up.
Mayor, can I ask Mike Campo just one other quick question
before
we move on? Mike, the $40,000 for the cable, is there additional cable work that needs to be done, or is that 100% of all the cable work that the smaller firm will be doing?
Yeah, so Logic House will be doing a lot of work themselves, kind of self-performing it. But they did bring in an SBE contractor to perform a portion of the work.
So there's some room there to.
Yeah, we're going to go back. We can go back to them to drive more work to that company.
And we're below right now the estimate anyway, right, from what was budgeted. So I think I agree with the mayor's approach.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out, Ron, as you discussed with the vendor, if they need help finding electrical cabling company to do the work, let me know. I could help provide a few contractors for them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that's what, and I would say that once we get a policy in place, then to Jeff's point, then it's out front before we start anything. Everybody knows what the deal is going into it, right? And then everybody, and I think once we establish a policy, we should make sure that we publicly put that out here.
Mayor, can I ask Mike one question, because you have potentially 3 major capital projects coming up. This is one. What is the status, Mike, of the Bollard project?
We're still going back and forth with the city to see what the Planning Commission and the Downtown Flats Review Committee will support.
And what's your estimate on that project?
From a cost perspective?
Yeah.
It's budgeted at $2 million, but we think it's going to be well below that amount.
Well, my only point is that's going to be another major, unlike these smaller projects, that's another major capital project. And we're going to ultimately have the same kind of conversation with that. So my suggestion, Mayor, would be that implementing this discussion about policy sooner rather than later probably makes some sense.
And if I may add, Jeff and Mayor, and Trevor's aware of this, and obviously Tim Ostermatt as well, the Gateway Board spends a lot of capital money very regularly, and they have a pretty well-developed process and measurement, but they're spending double-digit millions frequently So if we wanted some insight from their staff, that would be an easy conversation. They could talk about how they do it. And then obviously what the county's working on as we develop policy, or people that are, able to speak to this specifically.
All right, so to Matt and Jeff's point, we should probably get at this sooner than later. And then let me ask on this discussion, because I think we've got an idea where we're going on this particular item. Is there anybody that wants to work in a small collective on this policy who would be willing to volunteer, and as a small group discussion to kind of figure out some?
Mayor, I'd be happy to. Mayor, I'd be happy to, as long as you let me engage Brian to help me, because obviously he's doing a lot of this work in the community along with Michael and so forth.
Yeah, Mike, you want to jump in too?
Sure, I'll be glad to.
Mayor, I'll help pull people together, that I mentioned.
Okay.
Mayor, I assume you want me to document it and do my thing with that.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Obviously, I'm happy to help as well.
Same here, if we need more.
So, all right, so we've got Jeff, Trevor, Majid, Joe, Michael. I'll jump in, and then that'll give us enough group to get us started, right? Because we got some major stuff coming our way.
Yeah,
I love Matt's idea to start with what Gateway has.
Yeah.
And Matt, if you or Tim can just send me what it is that is documented on that would be helpful, because I can kind of lay out as a beginning point, a general statement of it. We can fill in blanks, but I could take a look at the way we do business, take a look at that, and just start with something that we would,
Will do. One more issue, actually a request, when we have these proposals for the board approval. It occurred to me after we started emailing yesterday about this issue. And I was one of the people thinking, okay, we want this project. This is the dollar amount. Of course, start sending yes without thinking through it. Keep in mind, we all signed the ethical statement for the board. And, so we need to be able to do the conflict checks internally if we have a conflict with any of these bidders or any of these contractors before we vote. So I think it'll be very helpful when we get these requests in the future to clearly identify who's doing what, the dollar amounts, to make sure that we do not have a conflict when we vote. I didn't even think about it yesterday. We were rushing to do it, and it's just like, I don't even know who, if I have a conflict or not. It's just something to keep in mind going forward.
Majid, I think you're right. That's why I was a little confused, and I apologize with my email, but it probably makes sense when we're dealing with a 7-figure contract to at least have one discussion like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then if our final vote needs to be unanimous and electronic, great. But at least we've had that one discussion.
Yeah, it's interesting because under the policy, so typically when these guys, when ASM does stuff up to $1 value, they procure in their own way without having to get any advanced board approval. What is that? 250,000? I can't remember now. $250,000.
150.
150. But over that, you're right. Over that, there should be in place a process where, because you will approve as a board, you will have to know who the players were in order to avoid any ethical conflicts.
Even though it gets approved by the board, like in total, this is kind of a second look at it, and that's part of our policy. What we do is we have it approved at the board level for the budgeted amount, but then we come back with a second look before we do it. If it's over.
No, I fully get that, George. But if there is let's say, unbeknownst to me, you're contracting with somebody who's actually an existing client of mine. I don't know, if I know that, my immediate is to abstain from the matter. You still are going to get your vote from the other members, but at least, I'm not rushing to vote. And
I think that's why we do the second look.
Yeah, but to Majid's point, when you're a lawyer, for example, in a law firm, Majid might not even frankly know that someone is his client, so he needs a little advance notice so we can check.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, good point.
I think that's what we're talking about with the second look. That we'll give more detail like that. Right.
So on this one, it's an SBE for 40,000 right now. Is that a majority firm? Is it an MBE? If you go back, will we have any MBE or WBE opportunities? Or is this firm an MBE as well?
According to the Cuyahoga County website, they're an SBE only.
So that gets into the policies. You keep in mind that formerly the county's only stated goals were SBE until they did the disparity study in the past. Now the county implemented this voluntary process to get to MBE, FBE, which was kind of convoluted, but that's why this is all evolving right now and has to be relooked at.
Okay, I just want to, when we look at the work of the revision, it's still going to be all majority, right?
Yeah, Dan's making a good point.
Yeah, just keep in mind that up until, we have to latch on to what the county does because there's no independent disparity study that we can rely on.
Yeah. So I mean, to our point, we're going to resolve this issue on the wireless upgrade here, right? To the best we can, and moving forward from here, we're going to develop a real policy here that everybody's comfortable with. That when we get out in the marketplace, everybody knows what the deal is. Right? So it'd be hard to encumber that on somebody now, and we're only working off of the county's past practices. So. And I think everybody here, at least is waiting today, has a concern. So that's good. So we'll figure it out. Right. So Ron, you're going to go back, work up, talk to him, and engage with Diane's concern, right? I mean, is there any other opportunity out there inside this thing?
Yep. Right. We'll ask those questions.
Right.
And then we will encourage.
George, you guys will come back to us and for an email vote, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll provide the extra detail that's needed and then ask for and have everybody look at it, then ask for the vote.
Yeah, then we'll get moving on this small group real quick to figure out the revisions that need to be made to our own policies. As far as minority, FBE, MBE, SBE inclusion on projects. So we don't need a vote right now, so we'll wait for Ron to get back to us. And we'll move on to this parking garage update, which is Ron again.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Mayor. George and I had a conversation yesterday with Mike Chambers. There was a conversation well over a year ago about CCCFDC taking over parking operations of the Huntington garage. Mike Chambers and staff didn't say no to that. I'll put it that way. They do acknowledge that there could probably be some management, some better management and some better revenue that comes out of that garage with different types of management. We have several times requested information from Mike Chambers' staff. We need to know to do a pro forma on this so that we know what we're getting into as the CCCFDC. We need to understand, for example, they have bond requirements that they have to make. They have, the Hilton has a contract. We need to understand how much they're spending on escalator, elevator maintenance, all those types of things. Just really get a full picture of the financial and operation of the garage. So then we can go in and put together a plan and a pro forma to present to the county. We've been having trouble getting that information. As of yesterday, Mike Chambers said he's going to help us get that information so that we can move forward. So I'll just keep the board informed at this point. Just know that we're working on this diligently. So we'll keep the board informed as we make progress. I think it's important that we have some type of control over that garage, especially coming in with the new consumer shows that we may have. Those shows are going to be in the evenings and on weekends when that garage is going to be mostly empty. So I think it's a real opportunity for us and for the county to be able to get some extra revenue from this.
We've talked to some of the professional management companies, and with automation and computerization of the garage, they're talking about how they could significantly increase the revenue where they're selling spaces more than just once a day and things like that. I mean, they're able to do a lot of a lot more efficiently do it, as opposed to what we basically have nothing there now other than if you pull in, you park, and that's that. So that's the things we want to do. We really see that there could be a great opportunity to increase revenue from there.
Questions for George or Ron on the parking garage?
Mayor, I'll just add, I mean, not really a question, but just so everybody's aware, right? We have a lot of different entities that use that garage, from judges to sheriffs to corrections officers. So it's not the easiest of discussions sometimes when we have a bunch of different parties, you know, particularly from 8:30 to 4:30 that rely on that garage. But I think it's a worthwhile discussion.
Yeah, part of it we took into account. We're saying that we want to take into account. They'll tell us how many of those special pricing spaces they need, and then we would handle the other ones.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly correct, Trevor. That's what we're trying to understand, what all of that looks like, so that we, you know, it was clear to us that a raise in parking rates or knocking anyone out that's used to using that garage is a non-starter. So we want to make sure that that's, if you will, baked into our pro forma, and we understand how to manage that.
Ron, why is it a non-starter?
Because you can't knock out judges or other people who have vested spaces in that garage.
Yeah, but they're on a lease contract, right? I'm for the space that they have, right?
My understanding is they don't.
No, it's not set up that way, Mayor.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, I got you.
But yeah, I mean, the county has a duty under the law to provide spaces for the court.
Yeah.
The court will take the position that it includes parking. I don't know that it really does, but that's a whole separate issue.
Yeah. Just so you'll know, and Matt Carroll will remember this, because I think you, Matt, were in the sessions. We actually, when the hotel was being done, there were presentations made by parking operators because we were looking at valet for everything, and then we were also looking at the possibility of an operator operating those parking garages. And there actually were some very, very good proposals made with all the technology, with all the automation, with all the equipment that could preserve all the functions that the county currently has, and also do this in a beneficial fashion. So all that information was looked at one time, and it did look promising at one time. But as Trevor points out, there are a lot of issues. I mean, the first step is you can only do it if the county's absolutely willing to do it at that point in time, and you take it from there.
Why can't you make a public records request? Doesn't the operator have to submit some of this? And I don't get why it's so I get it with privately held garages, but
well, the operator's the county, and I just it would be a little weird for us to make a public record.
But I do think
I'm happy to help facilitate this, Ron, or anybody. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And actually, thanks, Matt. And part of the issue here too, Diane, is I think the county doesn't keep data per garage. They keep aggregate data for all the spaces that they have. So you're really asking them to go do additional work and sort of reverse engineer it to get you that specific parking. So it's a little bit more than a public records request.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought they would have, because of the special needs in this particular garage for the judges and others. But thank you, Majid.
Yeah, Diane, and this was the issue we had, frankly, when we looked at it from the hotel. There was an informational issue. Keep in mind that is also a union operated garage. So there's a lot of nuances on how this is all done.
But in all fairness, I mean, it's not rocket science to reverse engineer that data. I mean, you could, if you spend a little bit of time, you could do it. I think it's just a matter of getting it done.
I think that's true.
All right. Any other questions on the garage? So you're going to get back to us, Ron, on this?
As we make progress, I'll keep the board informed. Yes, sir.
All right. And then that won't, well, I'll say that commentary. All right. So the next thing on the agenda item is the executive session. Need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
All right. Motion made by Trevor. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Second from Majid. All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
we need a roll call on the.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the executive.
Oh, we need a roll call on this one. Sorry. Emily, can you do a roll call for the executive session?
Julie, I think some people are already disappearing. If we can just avoid that until we make sure we have the vote.
All right. I invite him back in.
Just a roll call. Matt Carroll. If you could say yay or nay.
I think he's stuck in the other room.
We may have enough here for a majority vote.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's fine.
As long as you have a majority vote, you can go into executive session.
I vote yay.
Okay.
Sorry, I went into the breakout.
We just got to do a roll call.
Okay, is everyone back in?
I think you have enough for a.
15 seconds. They'll come back.
Okay, we're back. I think a couple people are still coming.
By the way, Trevor, based on yesterday, I'm actually researching whether you actually do need to have a roll call or only the county's rules require a roll call. Just pointing that out. Go ahead.
I think you need roll call, but let me know what you find out.
Roll call is always good.
Yeah,
always good. Not
Always good.
arguing.
All right.
Are we we're not in the breakout room, are we?
No. We got to vote.
No, we're not. You have to vote.
Room.
You have to do a roll call
We're back
first.
in the open session to vote in the open session, then we can go to the breakout room.
I think we got enough, Julie.
All right, ready?
Yep. Now hold on. So do we do the roll call yet?
No,
No, we didn't.
Let's do the roll call, Julie. Just
Still not
before we
bad.
go to
Roll
the
call.
room.
Okay.
All right, so for the motion to enter into executive session, just say yay or nay. Matt Carroll,
Yes.
Diane Downing,
Yes.
Majid,
Yes.
Trevor,
yes.
Michael Obi,
Yes.
Joe Roman,
Yes.
and Mayor Sellers.
Yes.
Okay, now we can go into the breakout.
Now we're all joined executive session.
I need to be invited to go into the breakout room, Julie.
I thought you were in there. Hold on.
No, I had rejected it because it was before the vote.
Oh, all right. Let me go back. Hold on. Oh, I don't know where to get, how I can get him in there. He has to stop the stream? Oh, I had to stop my screen share. Okay. Hold on a second, Majid, sorry. Okay.
Oh, I can join.
You can join now? Hold on, you should be able to move. I'll move you to it. Nope.
I think he's in.
He's in now? Okay, good. All right, now screen share. Oh, I'm like shaking right now.
Good.
All right. All right. Why is this not going? Okay, now I can.
All right, everybody back? Yeah. All right,
Matt,
so
I have to buy you a webcam.
Matt's on the move. G's on the move. All right, so that ends our executive session. Are there any other items for discussion today? We all have our marching orders, I guess, from the prepared agenda today.
Yep.
No other points. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, have a great weekend, ladies. Have a great Valentine's Day.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
For the guys, get to the store if you didn't buy anything on time. So,
Yes.
all right, have a good weekend.
You can have a great Valentine's Day too, Mayor, just so you'll know. It's not just for ladies to enjoy that day.
Me and you, buddy.
Okay. All right.